Fired up for this one. Always a tough place for the opponent to play. In Fresno at the Save Mart Center, it's Utah State 17-5, 7-2 in conference play. Fresno State 16-5, 7-2 in conference play. With us tonight is Jenny Cavnar. Jenny, take it away.
Hey, Drew, it's no surprise that Fresno State wants to defend their turf here against Utah State tonight, and leading the way in doing that is senior Deshaun Taylor. He is living up to that preseason All-Mountain West selection so far this year. He did miss 4 games with an elbow injury back in December, but he has come along strong. His team ranks towards the top. He leads the team in minutes played, 16.2 points per game. That's second on the team. He's a great free throw shooter, and 4.8 assists lead the team. He's coming off a 20-point performance against New Mexico. In fact, he's scored double digits in 6 of the 9 conference games so far this season. He's a guy that you can count on, and Coach Justin Hudson was telling me he just loves to watch Taylor's drive. He's always competing, whether it's in practice or in a game, and he's a guy you never have to motivate. He's always ready to go. And Drew, you can guarantee there is no motivation needed for either of these teams today, with second place on the line in the Mountain West.
All right, Jenny, it's not an embellishment to say Deshaun Taylor is one of the best guards in the country at getting to the line. For Fresno State, they'll have Huggins and Taylor naturally, New Williams and other guards. Sam Bittner is real solid, and one of the hardest working big men in the conference, Nate Grimes. It's Merrill. Abel Porter has come on running the point for Utah State. Brock Miller, the veteran Quinn Taylor, and one of the better big men, truly defensively, one of the better rim protectors in college basketball, in Nimi Keita. He's a freshman from Portugal, Coach.
A lot of great players for Portugal, right? 2 of them play for Utah State. Not just Keita, but also Diego Brito off the bench. Those are 2 of the only 4 players, playing in the United States. Keita, 9th in American block shots at 2.5 a ball game. They can do some things defensively because they know he's got their backside. The rim is protected.
Right, and one of the most affable guys you will find anywhere in coaching, period, is Craig Smith. You want to have a conversation about basketball? Sit down with Craig, and you better bring a couple of cups of coffee, because he's going to keep you a while. He's terrific.
He wants your job.
Well, he's going to wait for that for a while. He's pretty good at the current job he has, as is another first-year coach in Justin Hudson. And there's Hudson right past Grimes. This guy's waited his turn. Steve Fisher was his mentor for many years at San Diego State. He grew up not far from here in Bakersfield, California. He's the son of a coach.
We have 2 coaches here, both of who were mentored by Mountain West Conference coaches. Craig Smith was an assistant at Colorado State under Tim Miles, and as you said, Justin Hudson was longtime assistant at San Diego State with a brief little hiatus when he was at UNLV, but all in the Mountain West.
I am really excited about this matchup. These are 2 very good basketball teams, and they realize, listen, we were talking to Craig Smith a little while ago and said, hey, do you mention the bubble thing and that sort of stuff? He goes, absolutely. He goes, I don't shy away from it. He goes, it's not like 15 years ago. They're walking around with a computer in their hand all the time. They know the score. They know where they sit. So these are 2 teams that are really going to get after one another tonight. Utah State's in the blue. They control the tap. Enjoy, everybody.
Right away, we had our first turnover by Mike Greenstand. The official threw the ball up incorrectly, and Keita got an early jump. He cheated on the tip, which I taught my big guys to do, because very seldom the officials call that.
Sam Merrill on the drive lost the basketball, went off his leg. And so here comes Fresno State with it. Talked about defense. Both of these schools really limit the opponent, not only in point total, but it begins with shooting percentage. They defend everything.
We have 2 teams, we'll show the graphic later, that are very high in the nation in terms of defensive efficiency and in terms of defensive field goal percentage.
Bittner gets inside, and it is blocked out of his hand by Keita. Won't be his last block tonight.
No, Keita blocked that with his armpit.
Yeah, basically.
This is a team, Utah State, that holds teams at just 41% on 2-point field goal attempts, which is one of the best numbers in America, and a lot of it's because of Keita's presence in the paint.
Second in the nation in 2-point field goal defense. That jumper knocked down by Brock Miller. So it's 2-0 Aggies. Huggins outside for Bittner.
Little dribble weave action. Old school basketball here.
Shot clock at 5. Bittner needs help. Taylor, he's got to get a shot up. Hard drive, and that pass was too late. There was nothing there. Again, the presence of Queta. No block shot there, as that 3 is drained by Merrill. 5-0 start for the Aggies.
One of the best times to shoot the 3 is in transition, because the defense has been told to retreat to the paint, and you're left open there on the porch, wide open, and Merrill was. Taylor on that last possession, he needed to take it and drive to the basket. He's great at getting to the free throw line, and he's a great free throw shooter. Get fouled.
Huggins off the glass. I don't know if that was the intention, but it looks good. If you ask him right now, I'll tell you absolutely I meant to kiss it.
Little full court man-to-man pressure to try to pick the pace up. One of the things that Coach Smith was concerned about was not turning the ball over against the presses that will be employed by the Bulldogs. They're not what you would call a pressing team, but you will see the press on occasion, especially after the main free.
That's a reaching foul on Huggins.
See, there's no need to pick up that foul 22 feet from the basket on Queta. Queta's not going to shoot it from there.
How about Merrill's athleticism? He did a 180 on the catch and banked it in. What a beautiful feed and a great start right now for the Aggies. 7-2, they lead on the road.
Roll.
And that'll be on Abel. He got up in the air with nowhere to go.
And a smart play by Huggins, leading into him to get the foul called. So we see Merrill here. They're going to nice pass by Miller. Merrill recognizes if he lands and tries to go back up and score, Nate Grimes is there. Nate Grimes averages almost 2 blocks a game, so he needed to get it up on the glass in a hurry, and he did.
Again, the foul on Abel Porter, the 6'3" sophomore. And Huggins will be at the line. He's a 77% shooter from the free throw line. Bulldogs are coming off a victory against New Mexico at home, 82-70 Saturday. And Utah State won their 6th consecutive game on Saturday in blowing out UNLV by 17. In that game, they were up 29 at one point.
Utah State, 17-5. Their 5 losses, the worst losses at BYU. They have not lost bad games. I saw them when they lost to Arizona State. They lost to Nevada, and they lost at Houston, who's number 12 in the country. I was at that game when it ended up being a 10-point game, but it was 2 points with 2 minutes to go.
Well, and Houston obviously is a tournament team. Arizona State could be a tournament team. They in Washington.
And Nevada's a lock.
And Nevada's a lock. That shot was blocked. Quinn Taylor comes away with it, and it is ripped away. Flying up the floor is New Williams. And that'll count. What an acrobatic drive by New Williams, the junior from Inglewood, California.
So we see the steal at the other end when Taylor loses it and only pays dividends for New Williams. He gets the steal and he gets the basket. And now he's got a chance for the old time. Little Euro step through, kept the ball away from Queta so he couldn't block it. Unfortunately, he missed the free throw.
So we're tied at 7, little 5-0 run for Fresno State.
See, Grimes is stationed in the paint. He's playing like a one-man zone, not even guarding Queta on the perimeter.
Well, we're going to tell you, man, Brock Miller's got range, and he just showed it off there. That was a NBA 3 and then some. 5 early points for Miller, who's pretty streaky.
And Miller's 3/4 of his shots are going to be from beyond the arc. He's basically an outside sniper.
Taylor against Miller. What a matchup that is. An easy rebound for Queta.
And a quick outlet by Queta to initiate the first fast break.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened. The horn went off. They've had some scoreboard issues here in Fresno. They had 2 games where the shot clock went down, and the public address announcer literally had to say 15, 10, and then he'd say 5 and count it down from there.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think the horn going off bailed out Braxton Huggins, who almost got his 2nd foul on a reach-in right there. He was fortunate. So Mike Cyphers and Randy McCall are bent over there. That's their rear ends we see as they talk to the score table trying to figure out, one, how can we solve the horn situation, and two, how much time was on the clock. You know, I think that happened there. I think he blew the horn because the shot clock wasn't working.
You know what, Dave? I think you're absolutely right, because I noticed when the horn went off, there was still 30 on the shot clock. So I think you're 100% accurate that it was intentional that the horn sounded.
That's one of the few times I've been accurate in a long time. I appreciate you noticing it.
Well, I'm glad you pointed that out, and I didn't have to, because then it would look like I was criticizing you, and it's better that you do it yourself.
So they're putting 23 seconds on the clock. I think that Utah State benefited there from, I think it was a little less than 23 seconds, but they got 23 seconds to run something.
So here's Porter with it. He started at the point the last 4 games. Now with today's start, it's number 5. And they run a set to Queta outside to the hot man, and he stays hot. Brock Miller, redshirt freshman from Sandy, Utah. He's a little older than most redshirt freshmen. He served a 2-year mission initially.
Who at Utah State didn't.
Rebound! And there's Queta. I don't even think he jumped to get that rebound.
He could probably touch the rim standing on the floor flat-footed. He is very, very long. He's one of those guys who needs a second elbow. Nice pass.
Yeah, Taylor, and he had a block by Grimes, but a foul on the floor. One
of the things Coach Smith told me, he's running more and more offense through Queta because he's become a better passer. We've seen it in the last 2 possessions.
So Utah State on the road is off to a nice start. 13-7, they lead. A little more than 4 minutes gone. Utah State leading Fresno State right now. And they are in front in large measure because of the shooting of Brock Miller. He hit that 2 and a couple of long-distance threes. And this has been a trend to the liking of Craig Smith. Brock Miller has scored double figures in 4 of his last 5 games. So he's playing his best offensive basketball of the year over the last couple of weeks.
So he's a redshirt freshman. Last year he played the first 5 games of the year as a freshman. He's just a little bit older because he was on a mission. Played the first 5 games, had a foot injury, redshirted. So he wasn't really able to practice because of the foot injury, but he's come back strong this year.
Quinn Taylor is at the line.
Our friend Joe Craven said to me, what he loves about Quinn Taylor is he makes the offense go because he's a ball mover. The ball moves and finds the right people. And that's a real credit to his understanding of how to play.
Unlike when you played it in your college days, and you were a ball stopper.
Ball stopper, yes. Yeah.
Both free throws knocked down for Taylor, and it's an 8-point lead for the Aggies, trying to win their 7th consecutive game. Now, in the basketball game now is Noah Blackwell. He's been back the last couple of games after missing a couple with a hamstring injury. And that screen is called. So goes as an illegal screen.
Yeah, Rojas. Well, Rojas comes in and right away comes off the bench, gets his name in the box score by committing a foul.
Fresno State needs to stop. 15 points in 4.5 minutes for the visitors. Here's Merrill, he's doubled. I was going to say Queta will shoot that, and he will make it. Queta with just his 2nd triple of the year, everything going the Aggies' way.
You said he would shoot it. Yeah, he will shoot it, but doesn't often make it.
Well, he's now 2 of 5. That's 40%. Inside to Rojas. He took a heavy shot inadvertently.
And I think one of the things that bodes well for the Aggies here is they're up by 11, and Merrill has scored 5 points early, and it's not been him. It's been the other guys. His friends have been coming in.
Utah State's going to make a change in the backcourt. Porter's going to go out. Torian Knight will come in.
This is a team with a great bench. Their bench has scored over 25 points in 15 games this year. And they typically outscore the other bench by 9 points a game. So bringing guys off the bench for some teams, that's a step backwards. For Utah State, often it's a step forwards.
Knight is called for a travel. He was trying to initiate contact on that shot. Craig Smith didn't much care for that call. Finally inside outside, but Huggins unable to connect on a wide open three.
But he got the wide open three because his teammate in the paint was discouraged by shooting the ball because of the presence of Queta. Sometimes he doesn't have to block the shot, he can discourage the shot.
Absolutely. Here's Merrill, mid-range jumper, and he knocks it down. 20-7. Aggies by 13.
And I think Justin Hudson may need to take a timeout here, especially if they don't score on this possession and they give up another basket.
It's a 13-0 run for Utah State. Huggins, with a hand in his face, passes the jumper to end that run.
Well, Huggins is very adept at making closely guarded shots. He can make guarded jumpers just like he did then.
Here's Merrill. He sees an opening. Merrill gives it up, and the bucket was missed by Queta. Thought he was going to go up and dunk that, Coach.
I think he tried to, and Coach Smith in front of us thinks he got fouled on it. The guy tried to do a pull-up on his forearm.
Speaking of pull-up, that's a pull-up jumper for Noah Blackwell. They need him tonight.
Yeah, they need him. He's been a little bit missing in action once they came into conference play. He was a little bit better before that. Earlier in the year, he was Mountain West Conference Player of the Week one week.
Yep, that was right around Christmas time. 20-11, and Taylor tracks that down. Into Queta. Well, that showed me a little something. How you pass out of the post. How do you pass when you feel pressure, double team coming? Good vision.
He's a player that has really improved. When I saw them play early in the year, when they beat St. Mary's and then in Vegas in a tournament and then lost to Arizona State, he could not do some of the things he does today from a passing perspective. Now, he's not Bill Walton, okay, but he's not a stiff in the post.
Well, actually, from what I understand, he's got great charisma, and he is very vocal in practice and on the floor, so maybe he does have a little bit of Walton.
Let's hope he doesn't talk as much as Mr. Potato.
20-11, and that is a hard foul from behind. That's on Deshaun Taylor. He's trying to get the block from behind, and that'll send Merrill to the line. And
the problem with fouling Merrill and sending him to the free throw line, he's such a good free throw shooter, like #1 in the conference at 88.6%. This is probably almost a lock that'll put these two in.
Sam Merrill, his whole life wanted to go to Utah State. It's a family thing. In fact, his sister played soccer at Utah State, is now one of the coaches for the Aggie ladies on the soccer field. Merrill splashes both free throws, as you predicted he would. 9 points in the early going from Merrill, averaging just under 20 a game.
Not only is his sister one of the soccer coaches on the women's side, but his wife, Canyon, is a soccer player on the women's side. So Utah State has been very good to the Merrill family. By that time, that was a blow-by. Merrill had the wrong foot up defensively on the wing, and Deshaun took great advantage of it, okay? Deshaun Thomas, always a good driver, and beat him right off the bounce. Deshaun Taylor, excuse me, not Deshaun Thomas. I apologize to his family.
We knew who you meant. Here's Blackwell, and Blackwell with another solid offensive move. Little runner for Blackwell, junior from Roseville, California, transfer from Long Beach State. Aguirre Gao is in the game, number 13 now for Fresno State. And Blackwell tracks that miss down.
Yeah, Brown came in off the bench, and you know, he came off the bench like Dwayne Brown did. I don't want that first shot to be a long three.
That's Taylor, who again is so adept at getting himself to the line, but also getting the and one. He was looking for the and one there. First hoop for Deshaun.
A year ago, he shot 240 free throws.
And he made 200.
Yes.
And there's Queta to pick up the miss of Brown and lay it back in. 5 for Nimi Queta, 6'11" freshman.
You know, the name they haven't called yet is Nate Grimes. Now, he's the guy that should be blocking Queta out. Nate Grimes, is a very good player. In the last part of the season has been averaging 12 and 12. They need him to come alive. He had 19 rebounds in the last ball game. He needs to get some now.
Coach, he had 19 points and 19 rebounds against New Mexico.
That's called a double-double.
That's called one heck of a double-double. That's an offensive foul. It'll take us to a break. It's been up and down, and the Aggies are off to a phenomenal start. 24-15, they lead.
Utah State out to an early 24-15 lead here at the St. Mark Center in Fresno, and it has been Neemias Queta continuing on what he's been doing great in the Mountain West Conference, and that's blocking, his 57th block of the season. He now holds the single season record at Utah State for freshmen, and he's trailing the single season blocks record in total for all classes by just 2. I think he's going to shatter it this season, averaging 2.5. But he gets it done in other ways too, guys. 6 rebounds, 5 points for him. He seems to be everywhere on the floor.
Well, I'll make another prediction on Queta. As much as the folks in Logan would like this, he's not going to play for 4 years at Utah State.
I'll tell you what, he's done a great job against Fresno State in this game and in the previous game. He had 6 block shots against Fresno State, his career high, when Fresno State won on the 9th of January.
And let me clarify, I'm not saying he's transferring anywhere. He's going to be a professional. He is close to 7 foot and one of the better rim protectors in college basketball, one of the better newcomers, not just in the Mountain West, but in college basketball.
In the entire country, yeah. And it's not just he's 7 foot, he's a long 7 foot. He's got nimble feet.
Here's Brito off the bench. That was really long. He said, hey, we'll give you another chance. And now he's 0 for 2 in succession.
Remember I said about Joe Cravens talking about the ball movement of Taylor? Notice he grabbed that offensive rebound and flicked it right back to the shooter, right back to Brito.
Sam Bittner traveled, and they handed it right back to Utah State. Huggins got a brief rest. He's going to come in. Taylor now will get a brief respite. 24-15, Utah State.
Well, down 9. Coach Hudson can't afford to keep Braxton Huggins on the bench. He needs to get some offense going here. And Utah State is living up to their defensive prowess.
Brito finds Brown, and he splashes one from deep. Dwayne Brown Jr., the senior from Conyers, Georgia.
And part of the reason that the bench at Utah State is so good is Brown was a starter a year ago. He started the entire season. Now he comes off the bench getting 9 points a night.
Bittner open 3, and that usually means bucket. He's a 47% shooter from distance.
Notice how crisply the ball moves.
Really unselfish team, Utah State. In and out. And rebound to Huggins.
And this is what the Bulldogs need to do, is take advantage of their speed on the break.
3 ball. Bittner gets the rebound. Huggins for 3. Big offensive rebound for Bittner, and Huggins takes advantage. He's got 10.
You know, Bittner's a surprising good rebounder, getting 5 a ball game because he's smart. He positions himself. He understands angles. He knows how to play the game as a rebounder, even though he's not a great athlete.
6'6", Sam Bittner. Here's Brown posting up Bittner. Taylor shoots a 3. Wide left. Now Fresno State, down by double digits a few moments ago, can get it to 4, maybe 3.
One of the things that Coach Smith had told me yesterday, we were chatting, he was concerned about was the runs that Fresno State goes on. Fresno State has a chance, a tendency to be very explosive offensively, and they can put basket after basket together after turning you over, and here's one of those baskets.
Well, they make more than 10 threes a night, and if you make a high number of threes, you can put together runs.
You know why that is? Because 3 is more than 2.
Absolutely, you've always told me that.
Little flex action here.
How about the tempo in this game, Dave?
Yeah, their teams are playing a little faster than I think they normally play.
Here's Grimes, been pretty quiet early.
Quiet,
Huggins,
silenced.
Yep, Huggins looks at his teammates, and then the Utah State bench gives a little shimmy. 3-point game, 13 for Huggins. He's got 63s now this season.
He's auditioning to be the third of the Splash Brothers for Golden State, and I'm putting him on speed dial right now. He's got 13 points. I'm getting the ball again to him.
Merrill followed up and in by Queta. He averages 11 points, 9 rebounds, and the two and a half blocks. But in conference play, the offensive numbers have gone up for Queta.
And, you know, oftentimes the numbers go down in a conference play. But he's such a young player that's starting to blossom.
Grimes off the elbow. First bucket for Nate Grimes, the 6'8 junior. Merrill working against New Williams. Shaking free for a jumper and staying hot, as he's been since the opening tap, is Brock Miller. He's got 3 triples, 11 in the ball game.
And we see the Aggies go into a 2-3 zone, which they normally don't do. But they're playing a little zone because just to give a change, a different look to the Bulldogs, because the Bulldogs have started to get into an offensive rhythm.
Bittner. And that was a crafty left-handed layup. He had to get it up quick because of the presence of Queta. Well done by Bittner. He's got 5.
Nice job of putting some loft on the ball to get up high off the backboard to back in that left-handed layup.
High screen and roll. 10 on the shot clock. Good find by Cato. And he finds Brito, who connects. That was like Lisbon to Lisbon.
Yeah, we talked about their passing. They average 17.5 assists a game, which leads the conference. But they get assists on 62% of their baskets, which is 12th in America. This is a team that is unselfish and knows how to pass.
Grimes was wide open, and if you're wondering if Coach Hudson didn't like that shot, Coach Hudson said, you know, if Grimes is open, he can shoot the 3. Doesn't shoot a lot of them, but I have no issue with it if he's wide open, which he was. Brito again for 3. Grimes boxes out, 35-28, Aggies +7 on the scoreboard, coming up on the 6-minute mark. And a turnover.
Deflections lead to interceptions, and it gives you numbers for the fast break. Look at that pass.
Oh, Brito, beautiful pass. Unfortunately, wasn't handled by Taylor.
That was Tom Brady-like. I mean, he put it right on the money. Hey! These two teams are tired. They're waiting. You know, they need that under 8 media timeout. We got some people huffing and puffing out there. And that kick gets us to the media.
That will get us to the under 8 media timeout. 5:40 left, first half. It has been most entertaining. 35-28 Utah State. On Sunday, Colorado and this region lost an absolute legend in Irv Brown. He died at 83. Irv was my first partner, not only in college basketball, he was my first partner in college football. We did college baseball together, traveled throughout the western part of this country. He was one of the best NCAA officials of all time. He was one of the great radio talk show hosts of all time. There was nothing that Irv did not do, and he had a stellar athletic career beginning at North High School in Denver, Garden City, and on to what is now UNC. Head baseball coach at the University of Colorado, also Metro State. He started the program there. He coached football. This is not lending oneself to hyperbole. One of the absolute most important sports figures in the history of the state of Colorado. And for those that knew Irv well, he honestly thought he would live forever. And it was and continues to be such a sad moment when Irv passed on Sunday. And I know you came in contact with him in your coaching career. Not a better human being either. He helped so many people in so many businesses. My brother-in-law, he got him into officiating.
When I was a young assistant at Colorado State in the early 80s, he was then already both officiating and doing some broadcasting. And Just a first-class gentleman. It was my privilege to get to know him.
And he could handle the toughest of coaches. Bobby Knight had immense respect for Irv. Goes out of bounds with 5:05 to go in the first half. 35-28 Utah State. They came out on fire, particularly from three-point range. They're 7 of 14 from downtown. Huggins has kept Fresno State afloat with 13 here in the first half. Christian Gray getting some minutes, and he picks up the foul.
Hold on, foul on Christian Gray, his first personal. 7 pull-on team foul.
Well, you mentioned the pace of this game and the energy dispensed, and a couple of guys who have not gotten a lot of minutes of late are playing here in the first half. Christian Gray just picked up the foul. Justin Bean for Utah State.
And we've really been complimentary to Queta, but one of the places he's not good, he's only 58% at the free throw line, and it showed up right there. That's one of those shots he changed. You can discourage, change, and block shots, and all those are valuable to your defense.
And think about it. You know, we do a lot of college basketball together. You see a ton of college basketball, Dave. It's almost like there are very few rim protectors as you travel the country. You don't see many legitimate, 7-foot guys who have great timing.
Yeah, he's got timing. He's got that length. One of the things that happens too is length makes you quicker. You get there faster even when you're tired to those long arms. Nice screen, nice jump part.
And he's skilled too.
And getting better. As I said, I saw him play twice in December. No, twice in November, once in December. He is much better today than he was then.
He's a worker. 9 points for Queta. And that was affected from behind by Porter. Huggins. I don't know if that was advisable, but he's going to end up with free throws.
And Queta thinks he was walling up with his hands straight in the air, but if you look at it again, his hands were bent over a little bit, and he picks up the foul and sends Huggins to the free throw line. Huggins already with, 13 points?
And that is number 14.
Remember, he had 33 against this team when they played the first time around. He likes to play against the Aggies.
He was a tremendous player at New Mexico State before transferring. In fact, as a sophomore, as a junior, he averaged 14 a game for New Mexico State. So he's played in a lot of big games. He's been in the tournament twice and the NIT as well, because the Aggies in New Mexico State have been the class of the WAC for a while. And once again this year. Abel with a nice drive. That is Abel Porter. Quinn Taylor next whistle will come back for Utah State. 9-point Aggie lead. Huggins lets fly. Merrill, monster three. And that's a ticky-tack foul, but it needs to be called. I should say ticky-tack, but a foolish foul. And that bought him his second, and they're going to have to get him out of the game in the final 3:23. Craig Smith looked away in disgust. Utah State leading 39-30, but a moment ago, Nimi Queta picked up his second foul, and sometimes you want plays back. Queta would like this one back. Clearly over the back of Nate Grimes.
Well, you have to know when to, give up on the play. I'm not saying you're surrender. Sometimes it's a retreat so you can stay in the game and come back and fight again. If you've got one foul, you can't be going for that play. If you've got 0 fouls, maybe you make that effort on the offensive rebound, because now he's got to sit down the rest of the half.
Queta goes to the bench, 9 points, 7 rebounds. Only one official block shot, but he's affected many others.
Yeah, the effects is more important. And here we have going to the line, Nate Williams. mediocre free throw. Nate Grimes, excuse me. Nate Williams was a great player at Utah State from McClymonds High School in Oakland. You didn't know that, did you?
No, it's a good high school. It's turned out a lot of kids.
Bill Russell wasn't bad. Paul Silas wasn't bad. But Nate Williams is a great player. He's my age, played at Utah State. And Nate Grimes knocks them both down. Early in the year, I thought that Jong at UNLV might have been the most improved player in the Mountain West. I was wrong. I think now it's Nate Williams. Nate Grimes, I did it again. Nate Grimes averaged 5 and 5 last year, and now he's a double-double waiting to happen.
And he may be the hardest playing kid in the league. There's a lot of hard players in that Mountain West Conference. Brito has given Utah State some offense off the bench. 41-32, high-scoring first half.
Very good job,
Grimes against Taylor.
Great job by Brito coming across. Looked like Grimes was going to have the layup, but he took it away.
Taylor gives it up. And a beautiful shot late on the shot clock by Sam Bittner.
What's funny about Bittner, he's such a good three-point shooter, but he's got that funky hitch in his shot, which you wouldn't think he'd be a good shooter, but guess what? It goes in. It works for him. That's all that counts.
8 points for Bittner. Here's Merrill. He lost the basketball. And it's tapped around finally to Fresno State. 2:15 left. Fresno State can get it to 4, maybe 3. Bittner looking for help.
Don't leave the guy with the ball. I'm not very smart, Drew, but the guy with the ball can score. The guy without the ball can't score. They ran away from Bittner. Bittner just didn't realize he was open.
And the crowd was trying to help him out.
I was trying to help him out.
Here's Bittner. And pretty good defense there by Bean. That was a chance for Fresno State to get it down to 4-3. Here's Merrill. Good pass to Bean. Playmaker.
Merrill showing why he averages 4.3 assists a game. Top 10 in the conference. He's not just a scorer. He's a player that helps other people be better.
Very similar to the guy he's covering right now, Deshaun Taylor.
It's a very good call. Both of them are scorers that also pass the ball and create for teammates.
Blackwell with 5 to shoot it. Bittner lets go. Grimes, what a rebound.
See, that's a rebound with Cada in there that doesn't happen for Grimes. Cada's having to sit on the bench right now, is giving second shot opportunities to the Bulldogs.
Inside a minute to play. Blackwell to Grimes. Pretty pass, good catch in traffic. Grimes lays it up and in. And again, well, you take advantage if there's a big man out. And in this case, they're taking advantage of Cada having a watch. 6-point game.
The rim protection disappeared and they went to the rim.
Taylor against Grimes. Boy, he affected that shot, didn't he? Stayed on the floor quite nicely. Now Fresno State should get the final look of what has been a very entertaining first half.
Yeah, they're going to go with a high pick and roll play out of the 4 flat set. He's calling for, here comes Grimes' screen for Deshaun Taylor. Good job doubling the ball.
And they won't get a shot off. I have to tell you this. Utah State dominated that first half, but if you're Fresno State and Justin Hudson, you probably feel pretty good going into the locker room down by just 6, the way Utah State played the opening 20 minutes.
Agreed, but we'd expect it to be like this. You got punch and counter punch. These are 2 very good teams. One half doth not have got a game made.
No, not only 2 very good teams, 2 very tough-minded teams. Let's check in with Jenny. She is with Coach Smith. Jenny?
Yeah, Coach Smith, big offensive lead for you guys. Then you allowed him to get back in. Of course, you have some foul troubles to get him on the bench, but overall assessment of the first half.
Well, we're up 27-15, and then we gamble 3 straight times and lose our discipline. And they're a team of runs, right? And they're shooting contagious. They make three straight threes because we're undisciplined. They get back in the game, but we ride the ship. They're a very good team. And so it's going to be a heck of a game. It's going to come down to the end, and we got to find a way to win.
All right, Coach, appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Coming up on our College Hoops Halftime Report, we're going to hear from some of your favorite Mountain West stars. It's our latest edition of Courtside Confessionals. Stay tuned. It's the AT&T Sportsnet.